Hey, Chef Walker, and I'm just about to shoot an interview for a book for the Harvard Business Review Press, but we had a few minutes here, actually got set up early, had a few minutes, so I thought I'd talk to you about something that, I don't know, maybe it is related to Harvard, and that's about educating your kids, and specifically educating them to be entrepreneurs. So, if you're watching this, you're probably an entrepreneur or soon to be entrepreneur. And the one thing I know about entrepreneurs is those that are parents that have kids or grandkids would love to see, most of them would love to see their children follow in their path. And the reality is that for kids these days, for young kids, they're going to have to be entrepreneurs to some degree. I think almost everyone has to be. Even if you're in a job, I think these days, the way the world's moving, you have to be entrepreneurial. You have to look at whatever business you're in and take some ownership of that business. So I have two kids, and they are budding entrepreneurs. They're both in their 20s now. My son is my videographer and my photographer. A lot of you have met him. You've seen his work. He's shooting this right now. And he shoots for me part-time, but he's also a freelancer. And he also has created his own info product about how to do marketing videos. So he has got that entrepreneurial bug, and he's building a great life for himself. And my daughter is a fashion designer, and a very, very good one. She just graduated. She got a job in a small entrepreneurial ski wear company, and I think that her future, at some point, she's going to have her own line of clothes and she's going to be an entrepreneur. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about some of the things I did, some of the things I think you might do if you have your kids and you want to give them basically a leg up on their future profession and future business. So a few things. First of all, you have to take control of their education. You can't just think you're going to send them to school and they're going to get the education they need to, I don't want to slight education in any way, but the reality is you're going to round out that education. So one of the things I did with my son was he's always been gifted with words. He has always been a big reader, and he could always write very, very well. So when he was 15 years old, I decided I'd start teaching him copywriting, because that's one of those skills that if you can write copy, you can write your own ticket. It's a skill you can always fall back on. So I basically started hand-picking out a few books. First they were books, and then eventually courses about copy. And what I would do, the very first one was Scientific Advertising by Claude Hopkins, which is a classic from like I think it was probably the 1920s. And it's one of the absolute all-time classic texts on advertising and copywriting. And I gave him that book, and I said, you go read this book, and then put together a mind map. I showed him mind mapping software. Put together a mind map of what you learned from this book. Come back to me. We'll have a discussion about the book based on your mind map, and we'll talk about what you learned, sort of like an interactive book report I wanted from him, and then I'll pay you for it. And so I did that. I think it was $50 I paid him. If he went and read the book, went through the book, put together the mind map, came back, did an oral book report, and we had a discussion, and I gave him $50. And at that time, that was what would motivate him. And because then he could, go out and buy a video game or whatever, spend it however he wanted. And then when he did that, I would give him the next book. I think the next book was Influence by Cialdini. And he went through that. And I went through a number of books, and we just, one book at a time. And then eventually we worked his way up, and I think I gave him one of John Carlton's copywriting courses to go through. And this is how he became a very skilled copywriter when he was 15, 16 years old. He actually wrote some of the copy for one of my $1 million launches when, I don't know, he was probably 16 years or maybe 17 years old. So his art, his profession now is video and photo, but he's got that skill. He knows, and he not only has a copywriting skill, but he learned about selling. He learned about psychology. He learned about business through all of that. Some of the other things that I did was I would take him along to seminars. He went along with to a Tony Robbins seminar with me. He went to an Eben Pagan seminar on leadership and entrepreneurship. So I very much said, you know, the education system's great and he'll get out of it what he can from that or what he's going to, but I need to take responsibility for his education. And I did that with both of my kids. My daughter, one of the things I did with her is I've got this amazing my Platt Plus mastermind. It's as far as I'm concerned, it's the highest level mastermind in the industry. It's just absolutely amazing. And so basically I found a way to make sure my daughter was in the room for those Platinum Plus meetings, and my son as well. In fact, I paid her. Like, I created a job which basically required her to be in the room during Platt Plus so that she would just through osmosis, she's hearing what's going on in that room. And it's some of the highest level, you know, online marketing, thought leader type of business there is. So she can't help but start to absorb that. And then at the end of the day, I'd always check in with her and have a discussion about, what did you learn? You know, what was your number one takeaway? So the key thing is, you know, as an entrepreneur, your kids are going to absorb your world. You're going to inspire them. They're going to be inspired by what you're doing. They're going to be inspired by the impact you're making, but they're also going to be inspired by the money you're making and the lifestyle that you can create. And so my kids, they see me working really hard and making a huge impact and helping a lot of people, but they also see me taking time off and really getting to enjoy what being an entrepreneur is all about. So I just wanted to sort of put this out there for you. It's something I've never talked about before, but one of the greatest gifts you can give your kids is to inspire them to create, and not everyone's cut out to be an entrepreneur, but inspire them to take ownership of their livelihood and their future business and the impact they're going to make in the world. Because, you know, and at the end of the day, it's one of the greatest gifts you could possibly give them. So I'm Jeff Walker. If you're watching this anywhere else besides at my blog at jeffwalker.com, head on over there. That's where all the goodies are. Scroll down, leave a comment for me. Give me a share on social. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Subscribe to my channel, and let's go get them this week.